Hi everyone, it's Kelly. Once again, your embedded librarian. I'm going to create this video today to just show you how to access the databases and also show you where the research guide is. So let's get started. So first I want to show you the library website. We already kind of went over this in class, but I'll remind you that if you go to Student Services, the library is the second tab down. You can also always go to northampton.edu/library. Now, you can search a lot of different ways, and I'm going to show you different search methods. However, the first thing I want to show you is how to get access to your research guide. Now, the research guides just kind of go over some of the things that we talk about, such as they list different topics, how to look up ebooks, how to look up databases, things like that. So under the research help and tools, we're going to go to research guides. And they actually have a variety of research guides we have for different classes, different subjects, and they're all alphabetized. So we're going to go just down to H for history. And then right here it is. You just click on it. It's super simple. And then here's the research guide. You'll see things like finding ebooks. And if you read through this, you want a video, here you can click on this and it'll open up an ebook tutorial. It also has things like books, videos, articles. Now I'm going to go through, I'll be updating this, so it might look a little bit different, but I'll have some, not all of these have videos, but some of them have more in-depth videos. So even though I'm going to show you where you can search for databases and like little techniques you can use, like we have videos that go more in-depth into JSTOR, so I'll link that there so you can watch it. And if you click on it, it'll just go right to JSTOR, which is kind of cool. So you could search here. All right. So let's go back to the main library webpage. So the first thing we want to do when we're looking at databases is find which databases we want. Now right here is EBSCO Discovery Service, and this will give you a lot of general information, and it kind of pulls all of the different databases. So you might find communication articles in there, history articles in there, psychology articles, but it's a good place to start your search. So let's say we're looking for Malcolm X. I want to do full text, and all of that means is that your text is available right away for you. If you don't put full text and you find an article and that we don't have access to it, we can always interlibrary loan it. Or sometimes it'll show you books that we don't have access to but might be relevant to your topic. That's fine. So we can click search, and we can always, I'll show you where to click it if you forget to click it and you want to click it later. So you'll notice that this is all the EBSCO Discovery Service results. Like I said, it's actually going to pull from all the databases. So you might get JSTOR articles in here, you might get EBSCO articles in here, but you'll also get like, I don't know, APA psych articles. Anything from any database would be in here. Also from our catalog. So I'll show you that. So if you have a topic like Malcolm X, you might not have a research starter, but since he's such a huge figure, he has a research starter. So if you click on him, you'll see the database. Its research starter is just the title of it. You can kind of scroll down. It gives you like a little bit of general information about him. Then it kind of breaks up like his area of achievement, his early life, his later life. And then what's nice about research starters are there's bibliographies at the end sometimes, or sometimes there's websites, sometimes there's like for further research, go to these. But this is nice because you could be interested in, let's say one of these books and we don't have it, we can interlibrary loan it. We've talked a lot about that. But so it's kind of helpful to scroll through here. If you're using EBSCO Discovery Service at all, actually if you're using any database whatsoever, you do not want to use the URL up here. You want to use the permalink or the permanent URL or the document URL, just something that will show you a link. So right here in EBSCO, it's right here, permalink, and you can copy that link if you want to use it. So I'll show you the other tricks when we find an article we like in EBSCO. So let's go back. So that's a great place to start. You also see when in your research starter on the main page, other topics. So you can kind of scroll through and browse through these and see if like, maybe you want to learn more about a specific topic, like the assassination of him or this book by Walter Dean Myers. So it's a really good place to start. Now, if I scroll down, since everything from the catalog is coming in here, I'll get like video recordings. You'll see that, which is on Films on Demand. So you have instant access to that. If you find something like this you're interested in, all you have to do is click on it. And since it's online, there should be a link somewhere, and see how it says online access. And then you just click here to view video. And I click on it and it'll bring me to the films on demand where it'll play. Now, sometimes if you're off campus, this is where at this point you might have to sign in with your credentials, and that's just your Workday username and your Workday password. All right, so let's go back. So that's a video recording. Now this is a book, and you'll see the little icon book. It'll say the location. So Stacks means Bethlehem, and Monroe is the Monroe campus. Here's the call number, and you can see if it's available. Sometimes it'll say checked out, due March 5th, 2022. So you'll kind of see, and you can write that down and you can come get it if you want, or that's where you can put in that library to go request where you can actually request it to be sent to Monroe. Like, let's say it's just Stacks. You can send it to Monroe, pick it up here. Or if you're going to be, because your class is here in Bethlehem, if you want it sent here and there's only a Monroe copy, you can have it sent here. So that's helpful to know. And then if you have any questions about any of that, just come on in or just send me an email. I'll have my information at the end of this video so that you can email me if you have any questions. So you see, like, this is a video recording, but this is probably like a DVD because it says video recording, and it's in the Media Tower, which is a physical location on campus in Monroe. And here it is. So you'll scroll through, you see books, you might see periodicals, which is like news articles. Now academic journals, that means it's scholarly. That's like the creme de la creme of our research, right? So let's say we're really interested in this. We click on this. You'll have the title here. You'll have the author who wrote it, what journal it's from. You'll have subjects here. Sometimes it has subjects, keywords, major keywords, major subjects, minor subjects. And they're all kind of other keywords that you would search with, right? So if you look up Malcolm X, you're going to get a ton of information, but you could also look up more general things like the history of the civil rights movement, the 1960s, student activism, segregation, all of these different things that kind of you can look up. And you can also always add two keywords together, right? So you can look up Malcolm X and the American Civil Rights Movement. And then that will bring up all the articles that talk about the civil rights movement in some way within the article and Malcolm X. So the next thing that's super helpful is an abstract. You'll notice that when you have academic research and journals, they're usually long, right? This one's 27 pages. And you might be like, this is really interesting, but I'm not quite sure if it is going to be relevant to my article, my paper I'm writing. And I don't really want to read 27 pages if it's not relevant. So this abstract basically is one paragraph that's just a summary of what what this journal talks about. So instead of reading 27 pages that aren't going to be helpful to you, first you can start by reading the abstract, and it's a paragraph summary, and you can say, this is definitely going to be helpful to my research. So it's a good way to just kind of like get a summary overview of this article. And then you can go in and you do the real reading within the article. So in EBSCO Discovery Service, we also have things like print, if you're on campus, which is helpful. You can email to yourself. You can always download this. If you click on this PDF full text, you can download it. Now, my only suggestion is as you're doing research to stay organized, because it's really easy to like download some of the articles, print some of the articles, and then even throw like these permalinks into like a Microsoft Outlook document. But I would just suggest just trying to stay organized. So if you email them, maybe create a folder in your class that's, your History 121 folder, and then you put all the articles in there. Or if you print them all, then put them in like a specific, in your history binder. Or if you have a permalink, then I would put like the class, your name on the top of the article, and then put all the permalinks and maybe the title of the article. Just make sure you stay organized, because it's a lot easier than when you're putting all of your research and writing your paper together. Then what's really great is that you can click on the Cite button, and these have all different citations. Now, I'm pretty sure, I'll double check, but that we're using Chicago, right? So you can just scroll down to Chicago right here and click and then copy this and put it into your paper. I'm going to say always double check. I will also put the citation handout into the Blackboard folder. But if you're on the library webpage and you scroll all the way down, you'll see the citing sources, and then they have Chicago here. So you can take this article that you have and compare it against our Chicago handout. The handout's right here at the top. It's super helpful, but this is like usually 80% correct, and then you might have to change like a quote or parentheses, or they forgot a period somewhere, so double check. But it's a great starting place. And then if you want look at the PDF, you could always put full text on the left here. If this is actually nice because this is PDF. I thought it was HTML. This doesn't have HTML. Sometimes the articles are right here, right in the body, which is nice because you can just scroll through and read it. If not, like this one, you just want to click on PDF full text, and it'll bring you to the actual article. Sorry, my computer's a little weird since it's a laptop. So that's EBSCO Discovery Service. All EBSCO databases are similar. Sometimes you might have to, I'm trying to see, oh, right here. This is like an article that's being pulled from a second database, which is Gale. So in articles like this, you just have to click on the full text here, and then it'll bring you to the actual article in the different database. And here's where you have the article. All right. So then that's right on the main page of EBSCO Discovery Service of the website. The other place we can check is if we go to databases, and then we have all of our databases listed, 85 right now, that you can search through. We can click on all subjects and we can kind of narrow them down and just go to history. And then we can kind of scroll through and see what's best for ours. Now, the first two will be helpful. So that's African American experience, Black freedom struggle in the United States, a selection of primary sources. That has some really great primary sources there. This EBSCO research databases might be helpful, but if you're using EBSCO Discovery Service on the first page, that's fine, they'll pop up. Gale and Context opposing viewpoints might have information. Sometimes if it's like a controversial issue, they might have, it depends on what, like the war on drugs might have something on there. But the other one is the Gale and Context US history. That's going to be really helpful. And so is JSTOR. JSTOR is going to be really helpful. And then you can always go to like Salem history and ProQuest Central. I'm just going to show you a few, like 3 of them. So African American experience, if we click on that. Now you can always actually click on the time period. So you can always click on, let's say, the civil rights reunites. And then you'll actually see like not all your topics won't have this, but like Malcolm X appears right here. So I'll just click on this and you'll see this whole kind of biography about him, right? But if you want to not like, if you don't have to do it that way. So if you are back on the main page, you can just search here and then click search. And then you can kind of look at what it is. Like it's a reference article, it's photo, it's a biography right here. So you can kind of scroll through, it's a reference articles. Let's just say I want a biography. So I click on that and I can kind of scroll through. You can, I don't know if this has it, but a lot of places you can actually hide the highlighting. So you'll notice, I don't see it here. It might have it somewhere, maybe at the bottom. Sometimes the highlighting can get annoying. So some of the databases allow you to hide the highlighting. So you can scroll through. It's like a biography of his. It's really great. The MLA citations here. So if you click on view all citations, then you can get Chicago. Once again, always double check. You can email it to yourself. You can print it here, get the link. So you see you want the permanent link, which is a link somewhere on the page. And this is what you would copy into your document. You'll also notice that sometimes some topics have like offshoot topics. So if you go to biographies, you'll notice there's other people here that are kind of not, associated, like he wrote his biography at one point. So it's okay. Like you can kind of scroll through on this side and just see. Not everything will always be applicable. Maybe you're not talking about either of these people, so you're not interested. You'll see 11 reference articles. So these are things that, like, you know, he had somehow is related to Malcolm X. So like the film, you may never want to look at this reference article. That's fine, but it might help you and it might give you ideas on different keywords. Okay, so that's the African-American experience. I know it's real quick, but I just want to make sure you get like a quick overview of these things. Then this one is just primary sources. So a lot of documents. You can search by subject, which is really great. Let's just click on that. Civil rights. And you can kind of scroll through and look at the actual, like if you're talking about one of the actual acts. Or you can always search up here. So let's just try. Enter. So you can kind of scroll through. There's not a ton. And they're not even actually relevant. Let's just go back. Yeah, okay. So this actually, you're searching if you're searching by this little search thing up here. But like I said, you could go to the time period. That's what I would do in this one. And this has like great primary sources if you're looking for something like the legal cases. But we can look and we can actually get, now sometimes it's hard to understand like legal cases, like they even go above my head, but we actually have a legal librarian here. So if you wanted to like look at a case and you wanted help understanding it, we could even get help with that. We can always help you with anything. Okay, so that is the Black Freedom Struggle in the United States, that database. So then I want to show you two other ones, and that is Gale Context U.S. History. And Gale databases are pretty much the same, very similar, no matter what you've done. So if you've done like Gale Literature or Gale Science or any of them, they're similar. So you can search right here, and Malcolm X even pops up, and do a search. Here's an overview. So if you, and that's kind of nice, you can read more, which is kind of like a research starter, right? Which it's just like an encyclopedia entry about him. And it's pretty long, which is kind of nice. And see, this has further readings. This has your citation here at the bottom. Scroll up. What I like about Gale is it has more like this. So these are other kind of like encyclopedia entries on Malcolm X, or related articles. So it's the very similar, it's a lot of the databases are very similar. It's just a little bit different where you find them. So you would cite here and then you would look for Chicago, copy and paste it. And then you could download it here. You could send it to, that's email, email. I don't really recommend, I mean, you could try Google Drive, but I would or you could try OneDrive. I would just have the information somewhere in case it didn't go through. You could always print it and then you could get the link, which is the permanent link, URL. All right, let's go back. That's like an overview. Then you can kind of look, and on this page, you can see there's 23 academic journals. There's primary sources. So I wonder what those are. Let's see what those are. So it's like a message. It might be like a pamphlet or something. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, see, excerpt from the speech delivered. We have videos, websites, references, biographies, academic journals. So you can kind of scroll through featured content. There's the primary sources, reference. So sometimes reference might be other things, not just him, but he'll be associated with it somehow. Images. So that's Gale in the U.S. history. And that's very similar, like I said, to any other Gale sites that you've used. And then the last one is JSTOR. You click on JSTOR. And you don't have to click this OK, proceed, but I always do. Now, all you have to do is search right here. And then you'll see there's 93,000 results. Now, something I didn't mention, and EBSCO Discovery Service has it too, is You can always limit your stuff on the left-hand side here. So you can limit it like a different date. Like let's say you got tons of primary sources and tons of information, but you want something like, you want to see how Malcolm X's kind of the media viewpoint on him has changed, or like, the US's viewpoint on him has changed from like this 50s, 60s to now, right? So you want stuff just from the last 5 years. You could date it from, 2017 to 2022 and then apply it. And you can change subjects, you can change content. You usually want to keep content here is like what I can access. That's like full text. You don't have to do that, like I said, but it's just easier. You could change if you want just books or just serials or like periodicals, journals. So you can change all that. So if you're interested in this, you just click on it. The difference between JSTOR and most is that JSTOR comes up like almost like a journal right in the middle of your screen. And if you want to click over, you just click on this little right button. You'll get a stable URL. You'll get a remote access URL. I would always use this one just because this will give you access, like if you're at home, this one. So you just click on that if you want it. You can click on site for Chicago. If it loads it, there it goes. This is your permanent URL. Same idea. I don't think there's anything else you need. Oh, print, download right here. You can print. I don't know where you would print. I would just, if you're in the, I would download it and then print it. That would be the easiest, I think, for JSTOR. They might not have a print button, but you could share it and you can email it to yourself. Now, like I said, we can always add keywords. So Malcolm X and the civil rights movement. And we had about 83,000, and now we should have less because we're limiting it, right? Because there might be an article that talks about Malcolm X and his friends and his family, but doesn't really talks more about his personal life rather than the civil rights movement, and that wouldn't be included in this. So you like kind of narrow it down. So now you have 15,000 results. And you can do that with anything. You can do that with almost all databases, EBSCO, Gale, any of those. Okay. And then you could always check ProQuest. You could check Salem history, any of these. Same idea. Just kind of go through, try different keywords, try different limiters. If you can't get something full text, let me. If you find something that's not full text, let me know and I will help you. You can always click on this Ask the Librarian, but since I know your assignment, it's just easier if I help you. I think a few of you have already come into the library. Good job. But if you need more help, just feel free. I'm going to put my email up right here, right now. I don't really have that many vacation days until the end of the semester, so I think we're good, or until your paper's due. And that's it. So good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.